Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
How to build a profitable online prosperity in the age of social media. Now, in the era of social media, an audience is one of the biggest factors in a new business success. And having your own audience is like having your own means of production. You are controlling the narrative and you literally have people that you can sell products to and add value to at the same time. Now, you do remember and you do know that we get paid in direct proportion to the value that we bring to the marketplace. And value is actually created within an ecosystem. There has to be a personality that delivers on that value, and there has to be components that you can build in order for you to deliver that value. And nowadays, as we all know, almost everything is about the platform that you can build online, and you can leverage that platform in order to do and have a business that's profitable and enjoyable. I really want you to attract dream clients on repeat. And when you use our step-by-step digital marketing strategies, you'll be able to create an audience that will necessarily make it easy for you to actually have people to sell your products to. And a lot of coaches, consultants, and service business owners, they actually think getting clients is hard. But you know what? We actually make it easy. And I really want to walk you through this simple step-by-step plan on how you can attract more clients than ever before by actually building a profitable online personality. And I've got a product called Online Prosperity Blueprint. I almost got it mixed up with the online personality there. Now, understand this. Life isn't simple, all right? And neither is business. Nothing works on its own. Everything has to work in unison, or it works together. And let me tell you something. Gone are the days when providing great value got you paid really well, okay? People who got paid back in the time would just sit, create value, and sell. We no longer live in the information age. We are now in what I want you to understand as the implementation age, okay? What happens now is information is now free, but you can now charge for implementation. So we give away all our ideas, but we can then charge for implementation. I want to give you a few examples of how this works so that you too can do and have a business that's profitable and enjoyable. So if you're a coach or consultant, and I can understand you're probably sitting on a couple of courses, you're probably sitting on ebooks or podcasts like this that you're hoping that people will listen and maybe attend those courses and then pay you, a lifetime of money. But it doesn't work like that. Information is now free. And like I said, gone are the days where if you provided great content or great value, you would get paid well. Now, the people who get paid well are the people who build a sophisticated product and services ecosystem. So you create products like courses and everything else, and then have a service that actually helps people to implement them. Let's look at people that are easy to look at, that are universal. Maybe somebody like Jamie Oliver. My wife loves watching Jamie Oliver's stuff, and I think we've got a lot of his products within the household and stuff like that. You see, consider, a famous chef like Jamie Oliver and how he actually makes his money. I want you to ask yourself, do you think it's the TV shows or the recipe books or the, supermarket sponsorships that he does? Because I think he does Coles or Woolworths. I'm not quite sure which one it is there. And his restaurants as well. Do you think that's how he makes his money? You know what? Oliver does make money from all these appearances, but But sometimes he turns up to speak at important conferences like I think he did a TED talk, and he does it all for free. And he spends hours and hours on social media, and I know he's got a very engaging Twitter following, and he gives away so much value online, but he's not getting paid to do that. Okay, he's regarded one of the greatest businessmen and one of the greatest chefs we know of this time, but he actually spends a lot of time also working in with charities and doing charitable projects. And I know that he sells a lot of books, but he also spends a lot of money on PR. And you may wonder, is it all worth it? That he's got all these books, but he's still paying, upwards of $1 million with his PR campaigns. Now, the truth about all of this is all part of an ecosystem of products and services that work together to make a lot of money and actually have a big impact. And when this ecosystem is created, it's an ecosystem that, as a whole, it creates the value, not just the one product that is doing, like the supermarket endorsements, or the services that he's doing in his restaurant, or him as a person, because he's created a brand out there on his own. So you can try and create a system, or you can try and reverse engineer this ecosystem that he has created, and try and measure which item is actually giving him more money. You see, because if you put the recipe books that he has out by themselves, it might seem like it's a waste of time writing all those recipes when he also doubles that up on the internet as well. However, maybe the books are what actually makes his restaurants popular, because when people are engaging with your content, some people really want some sort of physical seeing or physical experience of what you're creating, and a recipe book might actually do that for them. Okay, and you might think that Jamie Oliver is overpaid for his sponsorship deals, but when you consider that he's also paying for PR, it might actually be a good send off of that, and it might actually be fair value for what he's doing. And none of it works on its own. That's why you need to build a profitable online prosperity, and it has to have step-by-step processes in which you then create an ecosystem that works together. And your job as a coach, consultant, or small business owner is to create a remarkable ecosystem that delivers a positive experience and keeps people coming back for more. Because right now, I suppose you're listening to this podcast on a mobile phone, and you're probably doing something like walking your dog, or you maybe sitting in your office. I don't know what it is that you're doing, but you just don't concentrate on one thing at any given time. All right, you're probably watching your kids, or you're probably doing something while listening to this podcast as it is going. So what have you within your product suite or your service ecosystem to have people engaged at several points in their time, in their day? All right, let's bring back Jamie Oliver again. I mean, you could contrast Oliver's approach with that of most business managers and owners that we meet as business people. A lot of people are annoyed because maybe their business is not simple, and I hear you saying, "Oh, I deliver great value and I expect to be paid for it." What's wrong with wanting to be paid for the value that I'm giving to people, etc. Or I've heard consultants saying, "Oh, they should pay me for my fees if they want me to come and speak at their conference. I can't be expected to work for nothing." And you can hear some coaches saying, "This social media stuff is a waste of time. It takes hours, and I'm not getting paid to do it." And you can hear a few other people just going, "Oh, I'll do something for charity after I make the money, and I don't want to have spare cash to be giving away. My business needs it." All right. You see, sentiments like this, they actually make perfect sense, and in a highly simplified world, really. But that's not the world I want you to be living in. I want you to be living in a world where you attract your dream clients on repeat, and you have a profitable online personality because you've built an ecosystem around your products and services. All right. Because every coach, consultant, or small business owner must really acknowledge that their job is to make a highly complex system that continuously feeds them and also gives value at the same time. And this system should really be effortless if you are genuine in creating a difference in the people that you're going to be serving. All right. And you must actually learn to turn chaos into order and do it with style. And, when you're an entrepreneur or you're a business leader, you can't just simply think delivering value is going to be the only way that you get rewarded. Every person that's got a t-shirt and a sweatpants and a laptop can call themselves a coach or a consultant these days. How are you differentiating yourself in the marketplace so that people can actually experience your worth and actually want to learn from you? Okay, so if you just sit back on your laurels and think offering blogs or doing podcasts like this is going to be the surefire way for you to actually start making real money and a real difference online, well, I want to tell you something. That model died a long time ago. Okay, in today's high performing environment, businesses that have ecosystems of people, products, and services that are all working in harmony are the people that are actually smiling all the way to the bank. All right. And I want you to know that, yes, it might be a paradox that now you have to actually do a lot more in order for you to get paid. But guess what? Half of these things you only maybe need to do them once. And once you set it up, all you're doing is just building upon that. Okay. So you can't expect to be highly rewarded for just offering value these days or content. Rather, you can expect to be rewarded when you build a high performing ecosystem that actually delivers value, and you will have a business that's profitable and enjoyable when you have built something people feel they want to be a part of, and it leaves them a little bit uplifted. So, like I said earlier on, give away ideas, but you charge for implementation. When I started this whole game of online business, there used to be a lot of products. There used to be people like Brendan Bashard, Eva, TJ have I'm just trying to think off the top of my head all these people that have all these information products. Tracy, Brian Tracy, you just think of those people, Tony Robbins. All they have tips on goal setting, marketing, time management, relationships. And I know one thing for sure, these tapes and products were not cheap in the start of the .com era, and I think they were even prominent earlier on when they were like tapes and cassettes, and now CDs and DVDs and box sets and all that stuff, and it must have costed a bundle, and that's how people were creating money, by selling this information. And it was rightfully so, because that was the information age, and information was highly valuable and difficult to come by at that time. And if you would find somebody who would share quality ideas at that time, that was really hard, and you would literally want to buy everything that you come across just so that you too can learn how to do and have a happier existence. But now all of that information is free on YouTube. Just type in anything that you want right now. Somebody has uploaded it free of charge on YouTube, So I want you to get out of that mindset of I'm only just providing information. Okay, because back in the time, gurus in all industries, they sold even an ebook or special reports, audio seminars, documents. People would subscribe and get workbooks, and there was a truckload. And there was a sense of anxiety during that time that, if somebody knew something or had access to some information, you're probably missing out on something good because you don't have those tapes or those books, etc., etc. And then, let me tell you something. Something totally changed when the internet was created. Everything became free. Google, YouTube, WordPress, iTunes, they all came along, and suddenly Everyone is now drowning in all of this information. We are bloated with content, and I think it was by 2010, the amount of readily accessible and free information you could get on your hands was now endless. Now I think we're, depending on what year you're listening to this podcast, it's 2021 now. Maybe you're listening to it later on. People don't even need to know certain things. They're just looking for people that can implement some of this stuff for them. And this is where we need to shift our minds to, so that we build a profitable business that's that sustains and we can actually enjoy it. All right. So information is now abundant, and you can download any document that you want. You can find any fact just by the touch of a button, and you can watch endless hours of video on any topic that you can think of. And there's terabytes of high quality podcasts like this for free. So information has now been commoditized. And after 2010, the anxiety that people felt, when they felt that, I'm missing out, turned into too much information, right? There was now information overload, and it's coming from anyone who can sit down and create something of value. Now, the value of information has fallen through the floor now, and the value of getting things done has now actually risen through the roof. So as a coach or consultant, you are in a unique place because you already know some of these things that your audience is searching for. All you got to do now is help them implement all that information so that they too can have a happier existence. And that's how people are actually making a killing these days. And these days, people would rather have a clutter-free existence, and if they do download a report or anything, it's just gathering digital dust, and nobody's touching it because it's just so much content out there. And they're actually now looking for ways to avoid distractions so that they can run their business or just live their lives, and when they need information, it's just at the touch of a button. So it's obvious that information is now commoditized, but I'm afraid this isn't obvious for some people, though. They're still under the impression that the information is somehow valuable and they could still make money from it. I see a lot of people still trying to make money from ebooks, downloads, or audio programs, and they actually refuse to acknowledge that the world has changed. Well, you are listening to this podcast right now, and you now have an unfair advantage because I'm literally telling you that world and that ship has sailed, okay? And if you want to go down with that ship, hey, you can go and sing Kumbaya or Titanic with that. Because the new model, which is now pretty simple, is just requiring you to do a very small shift. You now have to give away that information freely or cheaply and then charge for the implementation work, okay? You see, I share most of my content, in books and blogs and podcasts like this, and I rarely hold anything back. And giving you this tip, actually, I kid you not, if you really want to build a profitable, business online right now, you now need to include a component of implementation within your business. All right, there is a free tip. If you had not gathered by now, that's what I'm saying. And I often get a lot of emails because as a result of all the information that I'm putting out there, people want me now to put it all in action for them. Because if you give somebody the idea of how to do anything, they automatically assume you have an implementation strategy around that, okay? And I often get emails from people who say, they have a budget to implement these ideas. They just want somebody to do it for them. And the one thing is, people don't want to make a mistake, so they'd rather hire somebody who knows what they're talking about, which is why you need to be out there giving out this value and giving out the impression that you can actually help them with the implementation. And if you cannot do it, if you cannot implement any of this stuff, why don't you outsource this to other people that are fully set up to do that? And within Live Long Digital, which is my digital agency, I actually have a team of people that can actually implement your SEO, your social media, website design, all of the stuff that might help you create an online presence. So, check out what our products and services are, and you can see how we're helping other people be, do, and have a happier existence. All right. So, you've got information or ideas. Let me tell you something. People are drowning in ideas. People are drowning in information. People are drowning in recipes and strategies. But you can give people an opportunity to work with you, right? Which is what we call done for you services, right? This is where the solution, this is where your business has created a step-by-step formula around getting a result. And you can now help people achieve this result by doing it for them. It's called done for you, okay? And this is actually the most valuable solution your customers are looking for right now, because first of all, it solves the biggest problem that they have, and they actually then relinquish that responsibility to somebody who actually knows how to do that product cheaper, better, faster. So you really want to set up your business in such a way that you are doing done for you services for your clients in a way that it helps them achieve that which they're looking for in their life. All right. So a lot of coaches, consultants, and business owners, they think that getting clients is hard. But let me tell you something. You can make it easy by providing as much information out there and then offering to implement the solution that you're touting out there. And the information that you're giving has to support the service that you then provide after that. Otherwise, you will just be relegated to another bunch of Me Too, people out there that are not offering any difference to people's lives. Because, like I said, give away all the ideas that you have, and then you can start charging for implementation. So those people that say, "Oh, I'm delivering great value and I expect to be paid for it," yeah. Well, if that was 1995 and, the year 2000, maybe. But now things have totally changed. Everyone can literally be, do, and have a happier existence, without, by getting information free online. So if you're a coach, consultant, or service business owner who wants to attract, a crowd of ready to buy customers, then I think you've listened to the right podcast. Yeah. You know what I mean? At Live Long Digital, we are actually a marketing agency that focuses on attracting the type of clients that you want as a business owner. All right. The reason why we're saying this is once you've created the value and given it out there, set up yourself so that you can be able to implement, and then you can start doing done for you services for your clients. Because if you give somebody an idea, they automatically assume you have the solution around that. And if you want us to help you set this up within your business, why don't you click one of the links that came with this podcast, just so that you too can have a business that's profitable and enjoyable. In the meantime, subscribe to this podcast and tune in again tomorrow, as we are always giving value like this for free. Like I said, the information is now free, but the implementation is sold separately. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au